Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in Christ, I came here to tell you today you are not stuck, you are being set up. God is preparing you for something bigger, something beyond what you can see, beyond what you can imagine. Let me give you 6 undeniable signs that God's hand is on your life, preparing you for greater. When God begins preparing you for something bigger, one of the most powerful and unmistakable signs is that you feel uncomfortable where you are. It's not just ordinary discomfort or dissatisfaction, it's a deep stirring in your soul, a holy restlessness that you can't quite explain. Things that once brought you joy now feel empty. People you once walked closely with seem to be drifting. The routines, the habits, the places where you felt safe and secure start to feel too small for you. It's as if the walls of your current life are closing in, not to crush you, but to push you outward into something greater. This discomfort isn't meant to punish you, it's meant to awaken you. God is expanding your heart, stretching your mind, and preparing your spirit for what's coming next. Think of it like a seed buried underground. For a while it is content in the dark, hidden away, but there comes a moment when the seed begins to break open. The ground around it can no longer contain the life inside. That breaking is uncomfortable. That pushing through the soil is a struggle, but it is necessary. Without the breaking, there is no blooming. Without the stretching, there is no growth. Some of you have been feeling this stirring and wondering if something is wrong with you. You look around and wonder why you can't just be satisfied like everyone else. Why can't you settle in, make peace with where you are, and enjoy the comfort of the familiar? But hear this, the reason you can't settle is because God didn't design you to settle. He designed you to soar. What you're calling discomfort is really divine agitation. God is shaking you loose from what was so you can walk into what will be. You're outgrowing some spaces, and that's not a failure, that's a sign of progress. Look at the story of Joseph in the Bible. He was sold by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, imprisoned unfairly. At every stage, the comfort he once had was taken away. But in each season of discomfort, God was positioning him. God was preparing his character, developing his leadership, sharpening his gifts. Joseph was never meant to stay in the pit or the prison. He was meant for the palace, but the journey to the palace required seasons of holy discomfort. Some of you today are in that middle space. You know God has more for you, but you're not there yet. You feel the pull, but the door hasn't opened. You sense the call, but the resources haven't arrived. I want to encourage you today, do not despise this season. God is not punishing you, He's preparing you. He's enlarging your vision. He's building your faith muscles. He's teaching you to trust Him when you can't trace Him, showing you how to walk by faith, not by sight. And here's the beautiful part. When you finally step into that bigger that God has prepared, you'll look back on this season of discomfort and you'll thank God for it. You'll realize it was here in the stretching, in the pressing, in the restless nights and the tearful prayers that you became the person who could handle the next level. God's plans are always bigger than we imagine, but He's also faithful to shape us so that we can carry the weight of the blessing. Don't resist the discomfort. Lean into it. Let it teach you. Let it grow you, because what feels like breaking is really God making room in you for something greater. So if you're uncomfortable, if you're restless, if you're longing for more, rejoice. That's the sound of preparation. That's the sound of God at work. And when He's done, you won't just walk into something bigger, you'll walk into it ready, refined, and victorious. When God begins preparing you for something bigger, one of the first signs is the deep sense of discomfort where you are right now. This isn't just a mild frustration or a fleeting sense of boredom. It's a holy restlessness that touches your spirit in a way you can't easily explain. Things that once brought you joy no longer satisfy you. Friendships that once felt like home now feel distant. The routines you've clung to for years suddenly feel confining. You start to sense in your heart that you were made for more, and it's not because you're ungrateful or discontent, it's because God is stirring you. This stirring is part of God's process. He begins to loosen your attachment to things that can no longer carry you into your future. He shakes you free from places where you've been too comfortable, so He can stretch your faith. Like a mother eagle stirs the nest of her young, God stirs your life to make sure you don't become stuck where you were only meant to pass through. That discomfort you're feeling is not a sign of failure, It's a sign of growth. It's a signal from heaven that God is preparing you to expand, to rise, to step into something that will require a bigger version of you. The problem many people face is they resist this discomfort. They fight to hold on to the familiar. They try to fix what God is intentionally unsettling. But when God is preparing you, no matter how hard you try, the old things won't satisfy. The conversations feel shallow. The work feels lifeless. The old dreams lose their shine. God is giving you new eyes to see beyond where you are. He's giving you new ears to hear His voice calling you forward. You were not meant to die in the nest. You were meant to fly. And here's what's so important to understand. When God starts this process, it's not only about stretching your capacity, it's also about testing and refining your faith. That's the second keynote, the second unmistakable sign that God is preparing you for something bigger. Your faith will be tested like never before. Suddenly, the prayers you used to pray without struggle start to feel heavy. You pray and the answer doesn't come right away. You trust, and yet the trials increase. You ask God to open a door and it feels like more doors shut. You wonder, Lord, where are you in this? Why is it so hard? Why are you silent when I need you the most? But listen carefully. God's silence is not His absence. His delays are not His denials. He is teaching you in the quiet. He is shaping you in the waiting. He is refining your character, strengthening your patience, and building the kind of endurance that can handle the weight of the next blessing. If God gave you everything you ask for right now, without preparation, it might crush you. So He allows your faith to be tested. And it's in the test that you discover your real strength. It's in the struggle that you develop spiritual muscles. Joseph had dreams of greatness, but before he saw the palace, he saw the pit and the prison. David was anointed king, but before he wore the crown, he ran for his life and hid in caves. Jesus himself, before beginning his public ministry, was led into the wilderness to be tested. So don't be surprised when your faith is stretched. Don't give up when the pressure increases. God is preparing you. The trial is not meant to break you, it's meant to build you. So if you're feeling restless and your faith is being tested, lift up your head and give thanks. You are in the hands of a God who knows exactly what He's doing. He's preparing you, stretching you, and shaping you for something bigger than you could ever ask or imagine. Trust the process, because when the time is right, the breakthrough will come, and you'll be ready for it. When God is preparing you for something bigger, one of the first and most noticeable signs is a growing discomfort with where you are. This is not just irritation or boredom, it's a holy stirring deep inside you. The things that used to fulfill you no longer bring the same joy. The places that once felt like home start to feel tight, as if the walls are closing in. You might even feel restless in relationships or routines that once brought comfort. This is not by accident. It's God at work, stretching you, nudging you, preparing you. You are outgrowing the space you're in because the next season of your life requires more room. God loves you too much to let you stay small when He's called you to greater things. Just like a pot-bound plant needs to be repotted to continue growing, you are being prepared for a larger assignment. This discomfort is not something to run from, it's something to lean into. It's in this stretching season that God is preparing you to hold more, to do more, and to become more. But often we resist this discomfort because we misunderstand it. We think something is wrong, or we assume we've made a mistake, or we try to fix things ourselves. But hear this, not every ending is a loss, and not every discomfort is a problem to solve. Sometimes discomfort is God's invitation to trust Him for more. Sometimes it's His way of prying your fingers off the familiar so He can lead you into the unfamiliar blessing you would never reach on your own. As God works in this stretching season, the second keynote becomes clear. Your faith will be tested, and not just tested in small ways, but often tested in ways that shake you. The delays, the disappointments, the closed doors, the silence in prayer, these are not signs that God has abandoned you. They are signs that God is deepening your roots. If He's going to take you higher, He first has to make sure you can stand the weight of elevation. Trials purify your motives, strengthen your endurance, and reveal your true source of strength. In the testing, you learn that your trust cannot be in people, in positions, or in possessions. It has to be in God alone. The testing of your faith is not meant to destroy you, but to shape you into someone who can steward the next season well. Think of a goldsmith refining gold in the fire. The heat rises not to ruin the gold, but to purify it, to burn away everything that doesn't belong. In the same way, God uses the heat of testing to burn away pride, fear, insecurity, and anything that would sabotage your future. That's why some of the things you thought you needed are being stripped away. That's why some of the people you depended on are fading out of your life. God is teaching you to stand on Him, not on what you can control. And then comes the third keynote. New people and new opportunities begin to appear. As you walk through discomfort and testing, God starts to align you with new connections. Suddenly, you meet people who speak into your calling, who challenge you to grow, who inspire your faith. These divine alignments are part of God's preparation. He never calls you to greater alone. He always sends the right people at the right time. But these people often won't arrive until you've let go of what no longer serves you. That's why the first two keynotes, discomfort and testing, are so vital. They prepare your heart to recognize and embrace the new relationships and opportunities God is bringing your way. So if you feel stretched, if your faith is being tested, if new people are showing up in your life, take heart. God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating every detail, preparing you for something bigger than you can imagine. Keep walking, keep trusting, and keep your eyes open, because you are stepping into a season of divine purpose and unstoppable growth. When God begins preparing you for something bigger, one of the first things you'll notice is a growing discomfort with where you are. It's not just boredom or frustration. It's a deep stirring in your spirit. You start to sense that what once satisfied you no longer fits. The places, routines, and even some relationships that once brought you joy begin to feel limiting. It's like wearing clothes you've outgrown. They're tight, uncomfortable, and no longer allow you to move freely. This is God's way of stirring you so you don't settle for less than what He's called you to. It's not a sign that you're failing, it's a sign that you're growing. God is stretching your heart, enlarging your vision, and preparing you to handle more. So instead of panicking or trying to force yourself to be content in a space that's too small, recognize this discomfort as part of God's preparation. He is getting ready to move you into a season that will demand a bigger, bolder, more surrendered version of you. As you pass through the discomfort and the testing, the third sign will often appear. God begins to bring new people into your life. These aren't random connections, they are divine alignments. God sends mentors, encouragers, and destiny helpers into your path. These people speak life into your dreams, challenge you to rise higher, and call out the potential inside you. But they often won't appear until you've made room for them. That's why some people are removed from your life first, not because they're bad, but because they can't go where you're going. God is very intentional about your circle when He's preparing you for greater. He knows that the right voices will lift you and the wrong ones will limit you. So when you see new purpose-driven relationships forming, don't dismiss them. Pay attention, because God is using these people to help push you into your next level. Finally, as God brings you through discomfort, testing, and new alignments, you'll notice a growing sense of holy restlessness inside you. This is the fourth sign. You start to feel a deep pull towards surrender. You realize that you can't control what's ahead, and you begin to hear God's invitation to let go and trust Him fully. He's calling you to lay down your old plans, old timelines, and old expectations. This surrender isn't about loss. It's about making space for God to do more than you could ask or imagine. You can't walk into the next season carrying the weight of the old one. God is preparing you to step into your bigger purpose with a heart that is fully yielded, fully trusting, and fully ready. So lean into that surrender. Say yes to His process, because when you do, you position yourself to walk into the greater things God has prepared for you, and you will walk into them with strength, humility, and undeniable faith. When God is preparing you for something bigger, one of the clearest signs you will notice is a deep, growing discomfort with where you are. This is not the ordinary frustration people feel when they're tired of their routine. It's something much deeper. It's a stirring in your heart, a holy dissatisfaction that refuses to let you settle. The places, activities, and relationships that once made you feel fulfilled now feel confining. You sense in your spirit that God is calling you to more, even if you can't yet see what that more is. This discomfort is a divine signal. God is loosening your grip on the old so you will be ready to embrace the new. If you are feeling restless or uneasy, take heart. It doesn't mean you're failing or falling apart. It means God is pushing you to grow. Just like an eagle stirs its nest to get its young to fly, God is stirring your life to move you into a season of expansion. As God stirs this discomfort in your heart, you will also experience the testing of your faith. This is the second powerful sign that God is preparing you. The testing often comes in the form of closed doors, delayed answers to prayer, or unexpected challenges. You might wonder why things seem to be falling apart when you are trying so hard to follow God. But remember, the testing of your faith is not punishment, it is preparation. God tests before he promotes. Trials develop perseverance, deepen humility, and build spiritual endurance. You will never know how strong your faith is until it has been tested. Just like a muscle grows under pressure, your faith grows under trials. And through these tests, God strips away false security so that your trust is fully anchored in him, not in your own abilities or in other people. Though the testing season is hard, it is sacred because it refines you and gets you ready for the weight of the next blessing. As you walk through discomfort and testing, you will also begin to notice a shift in the people around you. And this is the third sign. God starts to bring new people into your life, while at the same time removing or repositioning some old relationships. This can be a painful process because it's hard to let go of familiar connections. But when God is preparing you for something bigger, he also reshapes your circle. He sends people who will encourage you, challenge you, and help position you for your next season. These divine connections are often people who see your potential even when you doubt yourself, people who speak life and faith into you. You must be willing to let go of old alignments that no longer serve God's purpose for your life so that you can embrace the new relationships he is sending to strengthen you and help you grow. The fourth sign you will notice is a deepening sense of surrender. As God leads you through discomfort, testing, and new alignments, you will start to feel a holy pull to let go and trust him completely. You will realize that you cannot control what's ahead and that your plans are not enough for the greatness God is preparing you for. This surrender is not about giving up. It's about giving over. It's about placing your dreams, your timeline, and your future into God's hands and saying, Lord, have your way. This surrender is what prepares your heart to handle what's coming. Without it, the weight of your next season could crush you. But when you surrender, God fills you with peace, strength, and wisdom to walk boldly into your purpose. Finally, the fifth sign that God is preparing you for something bigger is the awakening of your spiritual hunger. You will feel an intense desire to go deeper with God, to spend more time in prayer, to seek his word like never before. This hunger is a gift from God. It's his way of drawing you closer so he can pour into you what you will need for the journey ahead. You will find yourself craving his presence, longing for his guidance, and depending on his voice more than ever. This hunger is the fuel that will carry you through the next season. When you feel it rise in you, don't ignore it. Feed it, nurture it, and let it grow. Because God is preparing to pour into you so you can pour out into others in powerful ways. If you recognize these signs in your life, don't resist. Lean in. God is shaping you, pruning you, preparing you. And when the time is right, he will launch you into a place so big, so beautiful, that it will bring him glory and leave you in awe. So hold on, stay faithful, and remember. So what God is preparing you for is greater than what you're walking through. If you like, I can also help craft a shorter version or a closing prayer to go with it. Would you like that?